Well, I'm glad that you brought up the oversaturation of the comics because that's gonna bring us to our next topic. My quick take
Yay! All
is one of
right.
these, but no, this one I hope even the people who are tired of Marvel shit, and I'm holding on with my beloved Marvel. But I mean, anybody that's like, all right, I'm tired of this shit. Like, I understand. It's been over 10 years. I understand. But I was very interested in this since I saw the trailer, and I finally sat down and I watched the Werewolf by Midnight. And this is great because what is the most common phrase? Like, okay, if you are someone like me and you watch all of these movies multiple times, you know everything in and out, you know, oh, that reference came from this movie, that reference came from this movie. I'm one of those annoying fucks, all right?
There's nothing wrong with that, by the
Nothing
way.
wrong with that, but I am one of those people. When you sit down to watch one of these movies with someone that is not like that, um, uh, when you sit down with someone that is not like that, inevitable, you are bound to hear, okay, what happened so far? Like, what do I need to know before going into this? And I am absolutely astonished and happy to report not a goddamn thing. Nothing. This could be your first Marvel movie and your last. And you will get it. It's beautiful.
I want
Also,
that level of satisfaction, but I just know I'm not going to get it.
also comes in at a cool, crisp, no bullshit 55 minutes.
That part is what I like because it seems like Marvel's going the route of I'm going to use the term even though I hate it, the elevated horror route where they're just making the movies fucking longer for the sake of making them longer. So anything that clocks in the sweet spot, I'm for it.
I believe going forward, your regular run of the mill Marvel movies, they're going to be the standard anywhere from 2 hours 15 to 2.5. And their big events, I think they're going to make it. They're going to have enough big event movies that are going to be 3 to 3.5 hours. I feel that over time that's just going to be the norm. Not for every movie, obviously, but I think that any big event movie from that point forward is going to have to start clocking in at 3.5. I'm not saying I'm for that. I'm not saying that's a good thing, but I just have a feeling that might be the case. So, it was weird. Like I honestly, like, when I saw the runtime before I watched it, I was like, how are they going to tell a cohesive story like that? Because I'm used to all the other ones, and I'm like 55 minutes, and I'm like, at that point, I think Thor had just been banished from Asgard and just got to New Mexico. And then you're saying you'd end right there?
You could.
You could. But no. This was cool. I was happy because I heard and I saw briefly in the trailer that my boy Man Thing was in this, and he did not disappoint. Man Thing was amazing. I absolutely loved him in it. Um, Simple story. A bunch of monster hunters show up at the top major monster hunter of the time being at the time. He has died. So all these other prestigious monster hunters show up at his manor because I guess since he was the top monster hunter, he had like the main monster hunting tool. So it was time to pass that on to and crown the next prime monster hunter, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And they make a game out of it. Like they set a monster loose on the grounds, and whoever survives / captures the monster wins. And that's it. It's a self-contained story about that. 55 minutes in and out. Fucking glorious.
Not what I was expecting from a one shot.
Yeah, and like I mentioned this, I think the other day to you, just when we were talking. I like it. I the Marvel people are finding loopholes to work with Disney, because this was supposed to be like Disney's been getting a little bit more violent. We've had topics where we've talked about like Disney's level of violence increasing. They got around shit because there's blood splatter throughout this movie, like spray, like there's just puddles of blood. But to keep it that TV-14 rating and not a TVMA, which Disney would not do, that's why it's in black and white. Because if the blood's not red, it's not blood. That's how you fuck with the MPAA.
Chocolate syrup, like it was in Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah. So it's just like I'm like, this is great, because then that gives me hope. That there were two things that gave me hope. All right, that knowing that there are people sitting around figuring shit out like that at Marvel. You know what I mean? Like somebody had enough forethought to do that. And then two, I'm not going to talk about it because honestly, I've only watched one episode and I cannot give a fair critique on it so far. But that new Star Wars show, Andor, they specifically didn't use the fucking cylinder room that I hate. I watched the first episode and I noticed that shit. It was not there. And I was like, this is amazing. People are getting the memos. It's just the mail is slow.
Well, there's a supply chain issue, Ian. That makes sense.
So, there's some hope. There's some interesting things happening. And I like what I'm seeing so far. But no, yeah, Werewolf by Midnight, strong recommend. Like I said, you don't Captain Who, doesn't fucking matter. Nobody has any connection to anything else. Like there's a brief mention of them in the prologue. You can just skip that shit and it does not affect the story in the slightest.
I appreciate them taking chances on these one shots. Then, if they can do that, more of that, I'd probably get back into watching them regularly. Then, so I'm glad, Ian, you are a true champion to jump on the grenade to immediately watch those, because I have been so hesitant myself after Thor: Love and Thunder, which I'm not going to get into on my thought on
it was
that,
just
but
it was a missed opportunity.
That's the worst part about it. Although I think we've discussed it. I know me and Chandler have discussed it too. Apparently there was some on-set bullshit that I think our dear director started tuning out at one point, just as a kind of like John Carpenter did with Ghost of Mars.
I knew you were gonna say that when you paused for a minute. I'm like, he's gonna say Ghost of Mars.
Well, I almost said Escape from L.A., but Escape from L.A. is
because I'm sitting there and I'm like, it wasn't a great movie. I don't know if it was that bad.
Well, I okay, because we're watching it in about a week and some change. I actually kind of like Ghost of Mars because it's Assault on Precinct 13 in space. And rest in peace, Austin Stoker, our dear police captain in the original.
And Miss Angela Lansbury, solving murder mysteries in the sky now.
That was a 1-2 punch I didn't need. And then I found out that Austin Stoker was in a movie that has been blacklisted and sued out of existence. from Warner Brothers, the blaxploitation Exorcist remake Abby that came out in 1974. He is in, and Warner Brothers has sued, and you can't get a copy of it on DVD otherwise, unless you want to pay triple digits for a 480p disc. So, speaking of lost media, there's another one.
Well, so like I said, Werewolf by Midnight, I recommend it. It's an easy watch.